Say stuff.
Um, well, you, and we're back, and maybe this will make it onto the internets one day.
Well, certainly not this part. Certainly not all this foolishness. That won't be on there. Oh. Gabe? Gabe, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, what year is it?
It's 2025, man.
I guess more importantly, what magic set is this? Aetherdrift?
Welcome to Aetherdrift,
Yeah,
the land of
we're going
artifacts.
to V. Wait. Please tell me I put out that last review. What was it,
I
Duskborn?
can't say that you did, unfortunately.
Oh, that
Yeah,
set was so
we,
good
we
too.
I don't know that people are so hyped about this one, but they maybe should be because
Last one was
unexpected bangers with this last set.
well, all right. I mean, Dustborn was amazing, so maybe we can follow it up. Should we just get started with it then?
Let's do it, man.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Atmos video. We're back in 2025 with Aetherdrift. We got Gabe here. Quick recap, Mango moved away. It's a new year, and what we're going to do, we're coming in more deranged. We're coming in more unfiltered. We got the black logo, upgraded to the black logo. That's our mood in 2025. We're coming in hot with Aetherdrift, burning rubber. This direction. There we go, into the scenes. Not cutting it out, because that's how unfiltered. No,
Oh, no, no, I'm gonna
you
do the
did it
same
wrong.
thing.
You did it wrong. Yeah. So,
Yeah. If maybe we could also do the Goku. No, you have to go down.
what do you do?
We can do
I don't know Goku.
fusion. Ah.
I don't know a Dragon Ball Z kid. I don't know a Dragon Ball Z kid.
Fair, fair.
Oh, sorry.
Neither am I, but I'm still a nerd.
Super nerd. All right. So you're excited about Aether Drift?
Very
Dust.
excited. Big
As we.
car guy here.
Oh yeah.
So
You really like
I'm
cars.
excited to go fast and go vroom.
So I was
Max
skeptical.
speed.
I was skeptical people were going to be into Duskmorn, but the horror theme was real, and the limited was one of the best I have ever played, and I do not say that lightly. Very up my own ass about limited, as if you've seen these videos, you are well acquainted. But Duskmorn was amazing. So what we're going to be talking about, of course, this is the commons and uncommons review. So we're going to be focused almost entirely on limited. Like if there's something that is especially good, right, we might say constructed or even modern. If it's crazy, probably just sideboard then. But obviously, if you care about real valuable opinions, please do not watch this video and go watch the Not Loading Ready run. That's the pre-release. Limited resources, similar letters, but with LSV and Marshall, although LSV might still be on paternity leave. Congratulations, LSV twins is what he had. So he has,
Good luck, buddy.
yeah, he's having fun. I think Paul Cheon's been doing it too, which is just a brother from another mother with LSV. So still amazing content. Go check them out. So Aetherdrift, like you said, a vehicle guy. Obviously, vehicles very much back. Also, artifact theme kind of comes along with that, right?
Yeah.
And saddling, I think is, you know what? Let's just actually look at the mechanics. Let's be real professionals, and let's just talk through the mechanics.
The mechanics, and I'll say this about these mechanics: they're not a new storm. They're not going to be overpowered. Yeah. I think there are some cards that will maybe be good enough to abuse them, but the set,
and I think this
think
first
is going to be good for that reason. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I think really what you're subtweeting with that spiel is literally the first mechanic we're going to talk about. I'm eventually going to put points in the correct direction. This one. So start your engines. Take us through it, Gabe. What does start your engines mean?
Yeah, so start your engines is a strange mechanic. The text exactly is if you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. So what this means is at fastest, you could have max speed by turn 3, but that would mean your turn 1 starts your engine and you can do damage. And then turn 2 you can do damage, and then turn 3 you do damage, and boom, you're at max speed.
Yep.
Now, max speed, as you will see through this review, is going to have a lot of really sick payoffs, but it is really only going to be achievable if you're like really smashing in fast and hard early or have like really good ways to ping your opponent. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, that'll just be determined by the set. I mean, start your engines. Like I said, you'll see some strong payoffs. I don't know that they're going to be good enough to make these cards playable in anything but limited.
Love that take, Gabe. Now for the advanced analytics portions of Start Your Engines. Sorry, I just wanted to do like a racing thing. So, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. That was pretty good.
Poison.
So no, I'm not going to do that. So one interesting thing about Start Your Engines is I noticed whenever they word something slightly awkwardly, it's always for a reason. And what they slightly awkwardly worded here is it happens each of your turns, but only once per turn. Normally, something like that would check at the end of turn and trigger, right? Like at the end of your opponent's turn, at the end of your turn, if your opponent's lost life this turn, it gains a speed. But no, because they want the trigger to happen immediately, right? So right when they take damage, or right when they lose life specifically, it will immediately increment your speed. So that could lead to tricks, like literal combat tricks. Like imagine if something has max speed, gain first strike, and you like shock their face, in combat to give your creature first strike.
Yeah.
Irrelevant. Also with this creature.
Yeah, that is absolutely relevant.
So another interesting thing about the literal text. So there's really two mechanics in one here, right? There's speed, which, as far as I know, really only triggers on max speed. Like I don't think I've seen anything care about another number. Have you? At least in the rares.
Yes, I'm almost certain there's cards that get like an incremental bonus, like
per speed, but not specifically
per speed.
Per speed. Yeah, so we'll see.
I think that it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah, but most of them trigger on max speed. But the way that I look at Start Your Engines is so like this is a 5-drop with Start Your Engines. I don't care that it has Start Your Engines. Like if this is the thing that's starting my engines, like that's not great news.
I'm never gonna hit it.
Maybe it pays off like turn 9 or whatever at this point, right? Or turn 8 at this point. So the higher the mana cost, the more I'm evaluating the max speed. And the max speed ability is only relative to how good my deck is at starting my engines early, right? Not this way.
Yes.
Yes. So so this is a 5 mana 3/3 flying haste. Like what would you call that? Like a C minus?
A what?
What would you call that? Like a C minus, a C plus without max speed?
It's a
C.
It's a C minus.
C minus.
C minus to C plus. Maybe it's a C. Maybe it's just a C.
Yeah, it's kind of meta dependent.
I'm not mad at a flying haste 4/5. I will or 3/3 for 5. I will say, I mean, if your deck had already gotten to max speed, a flying haste lifelink.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're going. Yeah, so like the Start Your Engines, as we said, since this costs 5, basically irrelevant. It's like some weird bailout for the true late game. But now, a flying haste lifelink for 5/3/3. That's what we're saying. That's probably like a B minus, right? At least a C plus.
Yeah, that's an ass beating.
That's strong. But like cards specifically like this are very dependent on how much low cost common removal can remove it. Like, does black get a -3/-3 and red get a deal 3 damage at common, both for 2 mana? If so, then a 3/3 is much worse than like a 3/4 that could be in the slot. But anyway,
I can tell you, red certainly does.
We're so eager to review. That we can't even get through the mechanics. All right. Oh, this is the token.
This is just the token you'll receive to designate you got.
Whoa. It'd be cool if they had different ones. Or like if you could get a foil
that
one
would
of
be
these.
Cool. I don't think they do, but
a foil of this would be wild.
Yeah.
All right. Exhaust. I'll take exhaust. So this is a 2/1 for 1 in a red haste. So that's like okay already as a 2-drop. And exhaust means I can pay 3 in a red, presumably at instant speed because there's no other qualification and it's an ability. So that's cool. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature, and you can activate each exhaust ability only once. Man, Wizards. For anything anyone ever wants to say with MTG and Wizards, the thing I always go back to is there are not better game designers in the world. And like, just already passionately ranting again. We're so eager to review, but like, just this card's design, the fact they use it as an example, like that's a one-shot ability. It's a strong one-shot ability. It upgrades the card. It's kind of on curve, but the whole reason that it's good is because of threat of activation, because it can be an instant speed. What I just pointed out, right? You can't just block this, casually with something that has 4 health unless you want to trade it. If your opponent has 4 mana up, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's like a pseudo kicker, kicker being kind of the best mechanic. You have a 2/1 haste for 2, perfectly serviceable, that can get bigger, but the threat of activation just edges it up enough to where like this is a pretty good playable. Like I would say this is like a C plus, maybe even C to C plus.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean,
I like
and it being a 2/1 hate, like this is the kind of card that you are going to be so upset when you
Oh,
see if they have like a turn 1 haste 1/1 that starts their engines.
oh,
They're
this, yeah,
immediately at 2. This puts them. Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're sad.
And it's a Goblin Warrior, like we know that's going to be aggressive. I just love everything about this card.
Yeah.
I love that they picked it for Exhaust. Okay, we do have to mention the one cool thing about Exhaust. It does say you can activate it only once, but the cool thing about Magic is the memory layer gets erased if the card is ever removed from its current zone. So, ironically, not phasing. Phasing will not reset it because it stays in the zone, it just phases out. But anything that would actually remove it from its zone, so like full blinking it, bouncing it to hand, returning it from a graveyard, anything like that, you get to do the exhaust again whenever it zones. So obviously it's not abusable with this one because it would lose the counters if it ever leaves zone anyway, but with some of them it will be abusable.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And once again, people have been fucking complaining about this mechanic because they're like,
Really?
"Oh, you can only use it once. This is a boring mechanic."
No,
Yeah. And I'm like, it's
no, it's lit.
Magic. Like there's so many ways to abuse this, and even the abilities themselves, I mean, it's just an upside on a card.
Yeah,
And like
it's lit.
in limited, like obviously 2/1/1 counters goes a lot
It's
farther than other formats, but like
you,
of course all these cards aren't going to be in other formats. It's never that way.
it's
As you see, there will be exhaust cards that will be.
it's permanent specific, so you can't do it. Again, everything is kicker, right? Like we were just talking about with the other one. This is literally delayed kicker on permanence. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like imagine this was invasion or whatever, and it's a 2/1 haste, or you can pay 4 and make it a 4/3 haste.
Which is
that card would actually
arguably
be pretty good.
better.
Yeah. It's not exactly like what would you actually have to cost it to be kicker? I guess it should need to cost 5 to be a 4/3 haste. Because if it costs 4 to be a 4/3 haste, like that would be pretty sick. So its kicker would need to be like 2 in a red. Because if it was 6 for a 4/3 haste, that would be bad. So like it's not exactly like kicker, because kicker has to be done immediately, and this can be split up. But yeah, I'm just it being a one shot shouldn't lessen people's enthusiasm. They're not the greatest game designers.
Now I'm gonna just do this quick because we've seen vehicles and mounts before, but an interesting fun fact: mounts were actually created for this set.
Oh,
they
nice.
added them later down the road because like this set is going to have that same theme between the two, where you're going to see vehicle payoffs and saddle payoffs. But I will say with a lot of the cards I've seen, a lot of the cards that pay off one pay off both.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. And pilots in this set, which we've seen pilots before, which are just tokens that grew for 2 more power than they have, now do the same for saddle creatures. So I wonder.
Oh, really? They errated that?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So they're pilot / jockeys.
Yeah, errated. Yeah. But
can you say jockey?
It's an artifact. I'll say jockey.
What a bad boy! You say jockey. Well, you can. You can.
Yeah. Oh, I'll.
Being such a
any
jockey.
number of additional ways you can dent that. But I will say with vehicles, it's the same thing we've seen before. Whether you're crewing or saddling, the creature just has to have that much power, or the amount of creatures you're playing have to combine to have that much power.
Tapping the amount you're tapping. Right?
Yeah, and the vehicles that you're playing are often going to be like ETB effects. So you'll see.
Yeah, and the vehicles are always artifacts, and the saddling. So the difference is right, like when you play a vehicle, it's only an artifact until you crew it. Also, though, you can crew as an instant. And you can just tap creatures to crew whenever, for whatever reason. You can overcrew.
Yeah.
You can even crew it while it is crewed. I'm pretty sure you can just crew whenever.
Yeah.
So this is a 3/3 for 1 and a blue artifact vehicle. During turns other than yours, this vehicle is an artifact creature. Oh, this is a awesome design. Yeah. So it's the stupid 3/3 wall for 2, but the bailout for it to be able to attack is crewing 2. Now crewing 1 would be more compelling than crewing 2. But I still think this is fine. This is like a C-.
I think this is probably fine, yeah.
Maybe even a C if I care about artifacts a lot and it's blue. So
I was about to say if yeah, exactly that. If artifacts really matter.
And then here's saddle, right? So just like you said, basically exactly like vehicles. It just is a creature that then gets kickered by its mount into doing something special. So this one, if it is saddled, but notice the weird thing about saddle only as a sorcery, because they change stats commonly, right? Just like we see here. And if I'm gonna start pointing like this, if you were to change stats in combat like that, it would limit the design space because it would be so powerful, right? And they established they wanted that to be a majority of the design space, like comboing creatures, which makes sense when one's riding the other. They didn't want to limit the design space by making that an instant, and therefore too strong. So read this one for us.
Yeah, so Venom Sac Lagic. So 1 in a green,
Lagic.
so a 2-drop for a 2/1 Death Touch, and whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gets +0/+3 until end of turn, and it saddles for 2. I mean, this card is, I think, just a solid card because it's 2/1 Death Touch.
Exactly. I almost feel like you need a payoff for saddling to even care about the saddle, really.
No, but I will say if you're like in a red-green deck, which will care about max speed, like this is compelling if you have like a turn 1, 2/1 also or something like
just to force through damage, you mean? Or like really forcing the trade with a death touch.
Yeah, you're just getting to max speed with a death touches. I mean,
so overall, I think that's
by a 2/4 death touch. Yeah, I think this card is like a C+.
I don't think it's a C+. But to your point, I do think Death Touch generally has a higher premium, especially the cheaper Death Touch creatures, because they force trades or they just get through start your engine, speed damage. So that is a good observation. Yeah, I just think this is like a C. I mean, a 2/4 is really annoying to block with Death Touch. I'll give it that. So yeah, I guess. But the thing is that your 1-drop is never saddling this. So I guess your 3-drop is. So you're definitely getting through on turn 3. This is like never being blocked, right? If you just play a creature and saddle it. But then you're also open to just, you better hope they're not starting their speed because you've tapped out now, right? Or you just have like a 1/1 left.
Right.
And so they're hitting you. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting mechanic. And the last one, this one I definitely take because it's both probably my favorite ability of all time, and one of my favorite cards' abilities of my favorite ability. So this is Valor's Flagship. This is an artifact vehicle. It's a 7/7 flying, first strike, lifelink, crew 3. So a big thing with crew 3. However, you can pay X, 2 and a white to cycle it. So X being any color, or you can just pay 2 and a white with X being 0 to cycle. And at that point, it will only discard to redraw. So it just cycles it. It triggers discard mechanics, which we might see. I literally didn't put that together until I was just talking through cycling. We know there's discard mechanics because Gabe and I have looked through the rares and mythics. So there is a discarding theme. Cycling is amazing for that because it's a discard redraw. Now, but this specific ability, if you pay X, you get that many 1/1 colorless pilots. The Decree of Justice, which is what this is very directly based off of, was, I believe, white soldier creature tokens, 1/1s. But these things obviously can crew very well. So yeah, this card's cool. What would you give this in limited? I know we're still 2 days probably from getting to that, but what would you give this?
That's really hard. I mean, the fact that this crews for 3 is crazy. Because, like, I
Three's
mean,
pretty
if
low.
you drop it, a 7/7 flying first strike lifelink is hard to is
Yep.
really hard to deal with.
You have to have instant removal because on your opponent's turn, it's probably not going to be a creature. I guess you could. So that'll be interesting, right? Imagine you're playing against black, and also imagine in the format there's actually not like a really good premium black instant that can deal with this. Like their 4 mana unconditional removal is a sorcery. Do you risk activating this the turn that you play it on your opponent's turn to block? Or do you just be like, nope?
I think it's dependent on your situation.
Yeah.
Because, like, if they don't have flyers, no.
Yeah,
Because,
let's say they don't have
you have 7
flyers.
life swing every turn guaranteed. Like, how are they going to overcome that with whatever's on their board?
Let's say they don't have flyers, but if you don't block, you'll be at 5 health.
It depends on how much pinging is.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it all that was to point out.
Because, like, five to the face is still a lot.
Yeah. That was all to point out. There's interesting decisions as to whether or not you crew this card, even in limited, on your opponent's turn to dodge sorcery removal. And yeah, oh wait, was this not even about cycling? What was this? What is it telling me about Valor's flagship here? Whatever. This is the cycling section. Which again, this is just awesome. Like how do you make a combat trick better? Like a medium combat trick? You give it cycling.
Yeah. Yeah, give it cycling.
Because then it's not just a dead card in your hand.
Payoffs, then it's literally
discard payoffs. Yeah. All right, Gabe. Well, we're going to be doing the whole limited thing where we first look. I'm going to do it the right way. We first are going to look through the uncommon signpost, right, and then we're just going to go by color, by set number. So let's kick us off. Here we go. Our first signpost.
Yes. So first signpost: boosted sloop. 1 blue and a red for an artifact vehicle. First one vehicle out of the gate. It's a 3/3 menace. When you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. This is unconditional. So this is just an artifact that says whenever you attack, draw a card and discard a card. And it accrues for 1. Which is so good.
I love everything.
Yeah, this card is very good because number 1, any 1-drop is going to accrue it. And
that's what crew 1 means.
Statically going to get this discard theme going, which clearly blue-red is going to want to do. And it has menace, so it also helps you get to max speed.
You skipped the best part. Its name is Boosted Sloop.
Yeah. Oh,
that is amazing. Boosted Sloop. Look at this art.
I do love this art. Yeah.
This card is amazing.
Drifting off a wave.
This card is
what's even happening here?
I don't know. It's like cloud surfing through a. It's a boosted sloop. What do you mean? What does it do?
Yeah, it's
boosted. It's boosting. Yeah, like you're saying, this card is amazing. I mean, it's a 3/3 menace for 3. Crew 1 is basically
how can
free.
anyone not like this theme? We get to see pirate ships that are so drifting around.
Yeah, it's silly. Who cares?
Like,
who cares? We get a boosted sloop. I'm stoked. Yeah. And it's also got like some Kaladesh sub hint themes. I think Kaladesh is maybe one of the planes. Yeah. It's like 3 planes are participating in this or something. I don't remember the exact number.
4. Kaladesh is one of them. There's a new plane that this is all happening on.
Mm-hmm.
There's another new plane which is going to be like the insects and like mimeoplasm and other like weird foresty stuff. And the whole backstory with that is these these bugs that kind of run the world live to go fast, and literally as they become chrysali, they turn into vehicles in their older age.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's like a reimagining of Sonic the Hedgehog.
They like molt into vehicles.
That's amazing. Like they're like cockroaches? What are they?
Yeah, kinda.
Like stink bugs? Gotta go fast!
Like giant. Yeah, they're just like sick praying mantises.
It's wild. Yeah, so this card is everything you want. Crew 1 is obviously the smallest amount of crew. It's basically free.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the fact that is a static ability, so right when you play this, if you attack, you get that loot, and it's a loot trigger, not a rummage. Amazing. As a signpost, this is showing me artifacts, vehicles, and discard theme. simultaneously. And it's a meta, so it
Really
can force
cool
through.
for blue red. I'm really
Yeah.
interested to see what they're trying to do with blue
Everyone
red
loves
because it's
blue red.
clearly not been good for a
If you
while.
if you
Limited.
don't like blue red, if blue red is your least favorite limited archetype, comment and I won't believe you. Everyone
and
loves blue red.
and I will fight you.
Yeah. Is it? Is it good? Yeah, and it has menace, so it also supports the speed theme, the start your theme.
Yep.
Yeah, this is as most signposts are. This is like a B, I would say.
Yeah.
B. Seems like a B.
I'm
Does so
down.
many things and is good. Oh, another signpost, uncommon. Broadside Barrage. Barrage. Thank you.
Barrage.
Barrage.
Also, what is this human hiding in a shark outfit on the left?
No, that's
Like,
a real
what is this
shark.
man?
That's
I know it's
real.
it's supposed to be a real shark, but that one, someone's lying here.
It has an eye patch.
Yeah.
Wild. One, a blue, and a red for an instant and uncommon. It deals 5 damage to target creature planeswalker. Here comes the downside. Draw a card, then discard a card. That wasn't
Maybe.
downside. That's a free loot.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is very good removal. Extremely good removal.
We also did not give a grade to the last one.
I did. I said it was a B.
Oh, okay. I will also say it's a B, but I didn't remember that. But this is very good. Is this? I mean, it's a B, right?
So if this was 2 and a red, I would say this is a B plus. But since this is dependent on how good is, or how easy 3 colors is, which this is pretty easy. Don't we get common dual lands as well? I think we get common dual lands as well.
I'm almost 100.
Commons and rares.
100% sure. Yeah.
And I guess they're going to be the enemy lands because this is this has to be a good set. It's enemy colors.
No, I thought this was the ally.
No, these are enemy colors.
The next set is okay. The next set's going to be the opposite.
Right, because the friendly colors for blue are black and white. The enemy colors for blue are green and red. Believe me, I know. Don't you look it up. I see you typing. I know my magic. Yeah, look it up. I'm going to cut this out and take a break.
They are the enemy colors. Still going to find out. I had to know. I watched I watched a video where they said one or the other, and I thought they said that one, obviously, so.
You can just look at the back of a magic card. The friendly colors are the ones that it's touching. The enemy colors are the ones that it's not. Fun fact for all you new Magic players. Welcome from Universes. This is maybe people don't like this set because this is Magic doing their own Universes Beyond within a Magic set. Other planes are coming in. I'm getting all turned around over here.
All these planes.
Yeah, all the planes.
It's ridiculous.
Snakes on. No. Yeah, I mean, this is great. The loot, like, even without the loot, this is a B. With the loot, it's still a B because it's dependent on is it, but it's fantastic.
Apparently, the name of the name of the group that they're fighting for is the Keel Haulers.
Yeah. Let's show them how the Keel Haulers say hello. Is that a pirate? Yes. I guess an R in there would have been better.
I guess.
More signposts.
All right. Bloodheart Engine.
Close.
We're now in. Oh, Broodheart Engine. These are clearly the bugs. Black and green artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Okay.
Graveyard.
2 black and a green. Tap this. Sacrifice this artifact. Return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. This seems good.
Yeah, it
seems
neat.
Very interesting.
It's like not doing a lot on turn 2. You know, I'm not sure this is what I want my 2-drop to be.
You're not surveilling turn that it comes down.
That's true. Oh, I actually missed that. I thought it was ETB surveil. It is every turn you surveil. So it literally does nothing when you play it. But that you do very regularly surveil. It's like, when are you playing this? I guess you want to play this turn 2?
Turn 2, yeah.
Nothing turns 2 with speed.
On how
yeah.
early this is. Yeah.
When people are playing max speed theme, do you really want to go, I choose no blockers, turn 2, no
Yeah.
blocking.
And then turn 3, you're like mana ramping.
Yeah,
Have an
still
insane
nothing.
turn 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, still nothing.
So
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe the starter engines will be really really swingy. Like maybe you're not playing against the starter engines deck and like this is fine.
Yeah.
The sorcery thing is
It'll be
also
hard.
because like late game this is overpriced, right? I don't want to do this for 6 like in one thing and then I don't
No.
get any surveils.
No.
But as far as the signpost goes, this is screaming artifact sacrifice graveyard shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
but I don't even know what to give this. Like obviously surveilling one
Yeah.
every turn is good, but if you play it early, but I don't want to play it early. So and I don't
Right.
want to play it for 6 because it's a sorcery.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if it could be done as an instant for 4.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a little more I don't know. This is like a D. I don't know what I want to give it. D for do not play, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If the format that has max speed in it is somehow really slow, then maybe this is playable. Maybe this is playable.
If this set is actually slow, which I don't feel like Boros is going to be slow or red in general. We'll see.
Anyway, weird. All right, Cloud Spire.
This one's interesting.
Oh, I get it. It's a red. No. Oh, so we only had one black green. And oh no. Sorry, these are alphabetical because it's set number. Oh wait,
Okay.
if it's set number, does that might have been the only black green one, which means blue red got 2. I don't know. We'll see. Cloud Spire Coordinator, a red and a white for a 3/1 creature human pilot. It's a pilot but has 3 powers. Interesting. It's an uncommon, of course. When this creature enters Scry 2, that's good. Tap, create X 1/1 pilot creature tokens, where X is the number of mounts and or vehicles that enter the battlefield this turn. The tokens have this token saddles, mounts, and crews. All those towers. Okay, so just the eroded pilot information. Yeah, this seems fantastic. Like
yeah, this is a fantastic card for
sure. You had me at 3/1 that scries for 2. Like I'm already in then, for sure. So
you can also yeah, I really like this card. It's just creating constant value for you.
It's kind of
funny because
it's kind of weird
like
though.
A pilot, even though it does not have that text, which is
yeah, that is neat. It's kind of weird to me how it's like an aggressive card on one hand, but also not because it's tapping to do its ability, which makes you go wide, which could be aggressive with other cards. So it kind of does both things. Like you can throw this in like a pure Boris aggro deck, or you could also play it in a very heavy pilot theme. I don't think saddling is really in this colors. Saddling is green
what would be
red.
Interesting to see. What if there's a cheap a 3-drop vehicle that does 3 damage when it enters the battlefield?
Well, that would be pretty good, just in general. That would be a better flame tongue Kapu. So that would be dangerous.
2 damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything like that does some really good effect for 3 makes, because then the vehicle is just upside. This is just crewing them free, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, that's really what this does. It just turns all your vehicles into saddles, into crew and saddle for free within reason. But again, that's a very not aggressive thing to do because it's not like it's not like it's even going to have haste, the vehicle or creature necessarily. So yeah, I still think this is like a B.
It'll be able to prevent people from attacking in though, getting max speed too.
B minus maybe. B. I think it's
yeah.
Maybe a B minus because again, it's hard to cast. Like you really want to play this on turn 2, so you have to exactly have one of each mana.
For sure. Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm gonna do? I have a brilliant idea. Let me do this. Transform. no! I'm going to transform, flip vertical. So now when I point here, it's the right way!
Do it to mine. Can you do it to mine?
Yeah. Ah!
Trippy.
Alright, do yours. Ah! Ah!
It works.
Did it. Stop for a cut point. Alright. So yeah, like a B minus. Sure. Pretty good. Oh, this one does get 2. But again, maybe it's just alphabetical. Your go.
All right, Cloud Spire cycle, Sky Cycle, 2 red and a white. It is an artifact vehicle, surprise, 2/3 flying. When this vehicle enters, distribute 2 1/1 counters among 1 or 2 other target artifacts and/or creatures you control. And it crews for 1. So it'll crew with anything,
Yeah.
which is nice.
So obviously hitting itself would be broken. So that would be a 3/4
Yeah.
crew 1 flying for 4.
That would be too good. I mean, 2 1/1 counters ain't nothing.
A 2/3 flyer
You can
for 4.
put them on 1 creature.
So like without, so basically what this is doing is it's costing flying as crew 1. Because we've seen this card as a 2/3 for 2 and a white that does this exact same ability to creatures, but it's on the ground, it doesn't fly. So this is giving you flying at the cost of it having crew 1 as an artifact. See how much that matters in these colors, though.
This is like a C+, right?
Yeah, I'm like not crazy about this. This is funny in multiples. One targets the other one. But it is an uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that flying is at a premium too. Like any evasion's at a premium, right, to force in damage. But like this is a 4-drop, so it's not even like fast. Yeah, I think this is probably
like
just
a
like
1,
a C
2, and
plus.
3 drop. This coming in on 4 is still probably not bad.
Yeah, I still think it's just like a C to C plus.
And if you had some way to give this haste, which I know there is multiple ways in this set, statically when it comes in, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how many artifact vehicle build arounds there are, but like just on the surface, I would say this is like a C to C plus. But it could get better if we see, like you said, something that just gives it haste for free. My go. Dune Drifter. Exen and Orzhov. White black. An artifact vehicle 3/3. When this vehicle enters, return target artifact or creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it crews for 2. So
This is good.
This is interesting. So it's a 3/3 for 2 that crews for 2. That's not great.
That's not great.
For 4 mana, it reanimates a 2/2 to crew it, and it is a 3/3. That's okay, and then in the late game, it's just better. This is at its worst for 2 mana, right? Like, you're not happy about playing this for 2 mana.
No. I don't think you're just ever doing that.
It's just so it's an overpriced reanimate spell that tacks on a 3/3 with crew 2, which is like worse than a card. Like we just said, if that was just a card, we wouldn't like it. So this is like worse. Yeah. it's overpricing a reanimate spell to make it to give you not almost a card.
That much.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like a C plus maybe.
Yeah.
It is good in the late
only
game.
Shines if there's like some really good sacrifice payoff for having you're just sacking this vehicle for whatever value.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's also good if you have bombs, right? Like if you have like some 4 or 5 cost bomb mythic, you know, you're like, oh, it's back. So yeah. Also, by the way, like everything's just been vehicle artifact theme, except for this. But this makes pilots, and then it immediately gave us a vehicle artifact. So this is obviously Orzhov regenerates, or not regenerates, reanimates. Surprise.
Yeah.
We also saw Golgari do it. Right, he's another Orzhov card.
Ooh. This card is good. Embalmed Ascendant. 1 an Orzhov, white and a black, so 3 for a 1/2. Start your engines.
First start engines.
When this creature enters, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Max speed. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain life.
That would be hilariously good to get max speed. Like that.
Yes, yeah.
That's when you want it.
Max speed. Yeah,
this is good. This is good.
Yeah, I think this is it's just a solid ass card. And I mean, it's just a solid ass card.
Yeah, if you took away everything to do with speed, this is good. It's probably like a C+. Yeah. Maybe even a little better, depending on how much sacrifice and go wide stuff there is in these colors, which there always is.
A 1/2 plus a 2/2 for 3 is
great.
By itself.
Yeah, that's like a C+. The start your engines turn 3 is also fine. That's like maybe the last turn I'm interested in doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you'll do it whenever if you have to, but I'm like turn 1 if I start engines, I'm like, all right, we're doing it. Turn 2 if I start my engines, I'm like, that's fine, we can still do it. Turn 3, I'm like,
yeah,
I guess we're racing.
Yeah, maybe we'll get there.
Turn 4, it's like, I'm in a Pinto, what can I say?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll race, maybe I'll drive really relaxed. So the max speed payoff here, though, is also not huge. I mean, it's pretty good. It's good reach in the late game, right? So I kind of like it how, like, if you have a sack outlet, right, you can just play this on, like, turn 8 or whatever. Like, you top deck it, and you're just, like, machine gun you for 4. You lose. Yeah. Which is great, because it produces its own sack.
Yeah, we'll see how many tokens can get shit out.
So all in all, I think this actually gets up to a B. I think the fact that it enables start your engines, even though it is like the last time that it's still tolerably good to do so, but the payoff of just giving you like that extra 4 life reach, or even saving your life, if you have a sack outlet, I think this is like a B. I think it even gets over a B minus. Everything you want. Rakdos, Gastal, Thrill Seeker. A black and a red. Alright, a black and a red for a 2/3. Start your engines. That's more of the speed I'm talking.
That's compelling.
When this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent.
Yes.
So you just go to 2 immediately?
Yep.
You just go to 2.
Yep.
Wow, that's really doing it. Max speed, this creature has death touch and haste. So so that's like if you had multiples of these, for instance, right? If turn 1 you manage to start your engines, and then I guess this actually doesn't really do it, because I was gonna say the 1-drop can attack turn 2, but this dealing this damage.
This actually might be
just
more likely
you don't have
to
do
be
the
better on like turn 4 or something to guarantee your max speed.
It's still turn 2.
Because you
it's always
I'm saying like if you had a turn 1 enter the battlefield, you already have start your engines going on turn 1. You're attacking in, you have a different 2-drop that's getting it, and then you're just turn 3, they've got a board now, you can't attack in. You
see what you're saying.
Immediately get it.
Yeah, you're saying
this has haste then.
Since it always has speed incrementing
always getting
proc.
Yes.
Yeah, and you don't really lose anything for holding it, because it gets death touch and haste. I still would play it turn 2 pretty happily every time it's in my hand.
Most of the time. Yeah, for sure.
Because how many times are you gonna have the 1-drop anyway that does it? But yeah, obviously this is basically paying you back for not having a 1-drop that does it, because it immediately gets it to 2.
Yes.
And it's just fantastic anyway, because it's a 2/3 for 2, and it'll eventually gain death touch, because apparently this is going to be a very fast color combination. So that's what I'm reading from this, is that this is definitely the start your engines colors. Like, this red-black is very into racing. The Rakdos Racers has a nice ring to it. Yeah, this is like a
Yeah.
B plus. This card seems
Yeah.
cracked.
Card is nuts.
Ooh, Azorius. These are friendly colors.
Got
Oh, Rakdos is friendly colors
yeah.
too.
Guide Light Pathmaker, 4 white and a blue for artifact vehicle 6/5, has vigilance. When this vehicle enters, you may search your library for an artifact card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield if its mana value is 2 or less. Otherwise, put it into your hand, and it crews for 2. Whoa. How good is this? This just says get probably the best.
This card is
Could be the
extremely
best
good.
card. It's only artifacts.
This card is extremely good. It's only fail
It does
case.
crew for 2.
It's only it's so it addresses its only fail case, right? Because it would have the fail case if you play this 6-drop and you have no other creatures, right? So what this card is saying is
and it's immediately putting a 2-drop
yes.
on your
It's like have an artifact 2-drop, please.
Defense, a
yeah.
6/5 defense.
Exactly. You just have to make sure you have a 2-drop artifact in your deck. Or at least a few for this to mitigate its only fail case. Otherwise, you're probably just getting your single best artifact and putting it in your hand. If you actually have other creatures on the board, at which point it's basically a 6/5 vigilance for 6, which is also fine. Crew 2 is low at that point in the game. I think this is a B plus. I think this is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good.
I think it's a B plus. Maybe a B, but I love Azorius. So this is weird. I think there really is just some that get 2 and others that get 1 color. At this point. Although, no, they are also completely alphabetical as I look. Never mind.
Yeah, well.
But to have 2 from every possible color pair is also a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So Haunt the Network, 3 blue and a black for a sorcery. Choose target opponent. Create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Then the chosen player loses X life, and you gain X life, for X is the number of artifacts you control. So that's an engine starter, or an engine rever, I should say. That will get your thing going up. And it also makes 2 1/1 flyers for 5, which isn't nothing. And is going to
How good is this if you have 3 artifacts?
3 other artifacts? Or 3 artifacts total?
So, draining them for 5 and making.
Oh, it's extremely good. You can drain for 5 it's extremely good. So there was this card, I don't remember what the name of it was, that was a terror in limited way back in the day. It was like 5 and a black, and it drained your opponent equal to the number of swamps you controlled. And like there were limited decks that would play 4 of them. Like you would play like 12 swamps and 5 other lands. Like you try to be mono black, right? But that's very hard to pull off. Yeah. So you'd build like almost mono black with like 5 other lands, and then on turn 7 you'd have like 6 swamps, and you would just be like drain you for 6, I gain 6, drain, and then every turn you just play 1. And that card was very good. So, but in 5 was like the break point. Like 5 was where it becomes backbreaking. Like if you had 5 swamps on turn 6, you're just like slamming the card. So yeah, how realistic is it to have 5? We saw artifact theme and everything. So depends on how many artifacts, right? This is obviously better in multiples. I've never seen
really a card like this in limited. So yeah, I just didn't know what to think about it. It's weird. It's also good that it's making flyers.
I think it could be sneaky good in the sense that people might think it's bad, because like if you can get 2 of these, like having direct damage sort of reach is obviously better as you have more of it. But also this specific drain effect is better when you have more of it, because it just kind of like puts you out of reach from dying, and this generates blockers. And since it generates artifacts, it fuels the next one. Oh yeah, that's basically game. Right, let's just say you have 2 artifacts by turn 5, total reasonable. You're like 2 1/1s drain you for 4. They're like attack out. You like block with one of your non-artifact creatures. The next turn you're like drain you for 6. Attack with 2 in the air. Like they've just taken 12 damage and you've gained 10 health. Good luck. Yeah, I think this is probably like a B minus. It depends how much. It's
Okay.
so dependent on how many artifacts you have.
Yeah,
Like if you have
I
a
just
ton of
had
artifacts,
no idea what to think about this card, but yeah, I mean this set certainly seems to be artifacts,
if
so
if
I
if
know there
you're
are color combinations that are focused on saddling, so we'll see.
if you're so artifact heavy that you are 80% confident you will have 3 other artifacts by turn 5, then
Yeah,
this card's insane. But that's really hard because that means you basically had to get 3 artifacts by turn 4, which means you probably are having
yeah.
to generate them in some way. So I don't know. We'll see if something's shitting out artifacts. All right, your go.
Haunted Hellride, 1 blue and a black for an artifact vehicle, 3/3.
This set is goofy.
Cruise for 1. Yeah, whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Untap it and Vigilance. What?
This card's really good.
Yeah, this card's
It,
really good.
it's like
Once again,
the
this is
it's
just
like
a
the red
static
blue
artifact.
one.
Like, who even
Yeah.
gives a shit that it's
This
vehicle?
this one is. I mean, the loot is also impactful the turns it comes into play. This is much more
Yeah.
impactful the turn it comes into play. This is forcing through damage,
Yeah.
and like you said, this is the real engine starter because it is revving
Yeah.
your engine while preventing them by giving it vigilance. So like they don't want to.
Yes.
It's like forcing a trade. Which if this color combination also has triggers off things dying, and this thing's forcing trades, you're cooking.
Pretty good. Is this a B?
I think this is better than the Is It
Is this a
one.
B plus even?
I think this is a
Yeah.
B plus. I think we give the Is It one a B. I think this is better. I mean, the Is It one also had Menace. They were both crew 1, so they're all, the designers were competing, or it was the same designer, right? The one that made the Is It one and the one that made
take Death Touch
the
over
Demir
that.
one.
The Death Touch and an untap. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely more aggressive. The Is It one having the draw discard is more, Is It-y control-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a B plus. This thing is great. Weirdly aggressive for Demir. Demir is normally the control-y.
Oh.
Here we go.
This card.
Lagorine. Lagorin? Sol of Alcria. Did I do it?
Alacria?
Damn. Alacria. Legendary beast. Legendary creature beast mount. It's a 1/1 flying for a green and a white. Selesnya, when it attacks while saddled, it saddles for 1. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target mounts and or vehicles. It itself is a mount. So if you saddle it by turn 3, which is when it will be attacking, it will be a 2/2 flyer. And maybe have buff something else if you manage to play another mount on turn 3. That's the crack combo, right?
Yeah.
Turn 1, it doesn't matter. Nothing or something because there's probably not a 1-drop that has saddle. And then
There
turn
is.
2 this.
It's so rare.
Okay, turn 2 this, turn 3 saddle this. We get 3-drop that is preferably also a saddle. You can play a 1-drop vehicle as well if you pump the vehicle.
Or a 3-drop vehicle.
But the vehicle couldn't crew this. Then you would have had to put a 1-drop.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, this seems fine. I think this is like a B. Like, it gets out of hand. This is the sort of thing that's like, if they spike at turn 2, I better have removal, right? Because that means turn 3 it's a 2/2, then turn 3 it's a 3/3, and if you haven't done something about it then, it's about to get hairy.
Yeah, the game's probably over.
Yeah. So this is going to be a feels bad. Like, if you don't have your removal and they spike this on 2 and do the thing. That's why these sort of pumps being able to self-target are always a little iffy for the game experience.
A little hairy.
Yeah. But what did I even get? I think it said it was a solid B, right? I think it's a B.
Yeah, it's a solid B.
And it can definitely play like an A plus when it just single-handedly wins the game and your opponent hates Magic.
This is you. Simic, these insects. Look at this crystallized insect.
Love this art.
Ranger's Aether Hive. 1 green and a blue. So 3 for an artifact vehicle. 3/5 vigilance. That crews for 1. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token flying. That's pretty good.
Crew 1 on a 3/5
What?
vigilance?
That's a beating.
That's a big power and toughness for 3 mana. That also self-crews as soon as you exhaust something. Like, that's the dream, right? Is you play a 2-drop with exhaust, you play this on 3, turn 4, you already wanted to exhaust your 2-drop because it's the green, or it's like a green one that fucking makes it bigger and draws a card, because why not? Oh, I'm sure it'll be like, oh, it turns my 2/2 into a 4/4 and I draw a card. And then this thing makes a 1/1, and then they're like 4/4 trample, 3/5 vigilance. On turn 4 attacking you. Get you. Also, I drew this turn. And I have a 1/1 flyer. Ah! Simic.
Yeah, that's hard to deal with.
Simic. So
good.
Also, this card gave me a realization as to why people are not excited for this set. Are you ready? I don't know why this triggered it. This reminds me of New Capenna. Vehicles actually remind me of New Capenna. Remember, that was one of the things people didn't like about New Capenna. They're like, too many vehicles. There's something about this.
But people loved Kamigawa, which had so many vehicles.
There's something about this, obviously, Kaladeshi sort of design that almost reminds me of like the Art Deco of New Capenna. Like some of the vehicles, right? They had like big chrome, like big gold things going on.
No, it was roaring 20s vibes.
Yeah. Anyway, this card's awesome.
This is a little bit of it.
This card's awesome. This is a B+.
Is this a B+? Okay, okay. I was going to say B to B+, but yeah, it's an ass beating.
Oh, it just keeps making the stupid 1/1s too. If you just keep exhausting stuff.
Yeah. If you can exhaust.
So green-blue, I guess, is going to be exhaust, particularly green. I swear, let's see if I can call it. I've not seen the cards, right? Let me see if I can call that there is a green 2-drop that for 4 mana becomes a 4/4 trample and cantrips. Let's see. Something like that. Something in that sphere. I'm
interested to see what the blue exhaust cards are gonna be.
All right. So yeah, B+. Love it. Love everything about it. Want it in foil. Rocketeer Boost Buggy. Great name again. It is a 3/2 for a green and a red. It is an artifact vehicle. Whenever this vehicle attacks, create a treasure token. Okay. Exhaust. There's exhaust being now green-red as well. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put a 1/1 counter on it. And that's permanent. That's not until end of turn.
Baby.
Not until end of turn. So that's, once again, a kicker. Very much a kicker. So it becomes a 4/3. But again, that's also threat of activation.
4/3 creature.
Yes, threat of activation. You can do it at instant speed. So that's actually what makes this really good, is if you just have a turn where maybe you're holding up removal, or like you're just holding this up as a theoretical blocker, because again, it's threat of activation. You can do this at instant speed, right? So like it can be a 4/3 blocker at a moment's notice, or you can hold up removal and then just make it a 4/3 block. Yeah, this
card is nuts.
This card's good. Just as a 3/2, I wish it had trample for some reason because I'm greedy. But make it better.
It's a 4/3 for 5, I know, but like it's so good.
Well, I think the
tokens and accelerating
the main pattern here is you're just attacking with this on turn 3, and you're making a treasure, and they're probably going to trade it. But if they don't, you basically get a treasure for free, damage through, and then this becomes an actual theoretical problem later. Yeah, it's just like a B. I don't think it really runs away with anything. If that would... I wonder if they had this thing have the static ability first. Like, whenever you attack a treasure. And they were like, no, it's too good. It's too good. Yeah, this has to attack.
Too good.
Yeah, I think this is a B. Good.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah, so now we have seen... Oh, well, this was actually a... What color was this? Red, green. This is the first red-green we've seen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first red-green, yeah.
Weird how we didn't, like, have a color combination we had already had, or maybe we didn't notice it while going through the alphabet, right? Like, we never, like, left a color combination and then came back to it so far.
No.
Did we for Izzet? Or did we for Simic? I don't think so. But now we are, because here's a Simic.
Yeah.
Anyway. Check the tape. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's you.
Sure, I'll take it. It's not, but I'll take it. Sky Serpent Seeker. It is an is it. It's not an is it. It is a Simic, a green and a blue, for a 1/1 flying death touch. Ooh, that is iconic stat line. Just that. I don't remember the name of the card now. Oh, that's the Baleful Strix. But it's a black and a blue, and it draws you a card when it comes into play. And it's a 1/1 flying death touch for 2. So, exhaust for 4. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal 2 land cards. Put those land cards, any land card, not basic land card. Put those land cards onto the battlefield, tapped. It does say tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. But don't worry, this thing also gets a 1/1 counter on it.
It's a 1/1 counter, yeah.
Because a 1/1 flying death touch is better when it's a 2/2 flying death touch, I guess. It is better. So yeah, I mean, this is a B+. Why am I not doing this? I'm always doing this. B+. We've already seen that that exhaust is cared about in these colors.
Ramping for 2 and getting a 1/1 counter is crazy.
And making a 1/1 Thopter with the other one.
Yeah. Why not?
And that other one was a 3-drop, right? I told you, works perfectly. 2, 3, 4.
That's going to happen, and that's going to be upsetting.
Oh, yeah. Your opponent's going to go 2, 3, 4, and then they're going to go 6-drop, 6-drop, 6-drop.
I hope so, honestly. Oh,
speaking of 7 drops. All right, this is definitely yours.
Thundering Broodwagon. 2 black and 2 green. Very hard to cast. So 6 for an artifact vehicle, 6/5. Through 3. Cycles for 2, though. And it's a Menace Reach. And when this vehicle enters, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 4 or less. Whoa.
This is where the designers were like, there's going to be people that are reviewing this set for limited. Let's give them something that's really weird. It's like, it's overpriced, but it's a pretty powerful creature, but the crew is also expensive, but it can destroy any permanent, but actually it's only 4 or less, but hey, you can always cycle it. That's me as a Magic designer.
It's so much text. So much text.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Everything it's doing is overcosted and conditional, but it has the buyout. So, like, how bad can it be?
Right.
Maybe all these things are good.
I think all these things are just good. I mean, it is overcosted to crew it. It is, I mean, it could just be a Menace 6/5, and that's like cool. It has reach, I guess.
This card is so.
I mean, I'm gonna be interested to see if there's got to be ways to recur vehicles for like 4. Like if you could cycle this and then like turn 3 or 4, bring this onto the battlefield.
I mean, this is the colors that do
destroy something. Then this is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. But here, I'm gonna one up the designer. Here's how you one up the designer. This card is so conditional with the buyout clause. I'm not even talking about its options in the game. This is taking the options all the way to the draft. Like, I'm more comfortable drafting this because I'm like, how bad can it really be? Like, maybe I end up being able to reanimate it. You know, maybe I care about it because I get good ramp later in the draft. But even if none of those things are true, I can always cycle it. I don't even have to be in black. Yeah. Maybe it's not castable.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. It's like, maybe I have a discard theme. Oh, yeah, maybe it's literally not castable. Maybe somehow I get cut out of green, but I have black reanimation. So I'm like, it's cyclable, and maybe I can like spike it, you know, reanimate. Or you're playing it in Orzhov, right? The other vehicle that can reanimate this for the low cost of 9. Is this Orzhov an X?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That makes sense. This is 6. Oh, man, I'm terrible. I said it was 7 earlier. You're right. That would be 8.
Yeah. No, it is in fact 6.
In my defense, I mathed poorly earlier. Not right now. My math now was right. Earlier was bad. So yeah, this to me is like it's a C+. I actually think it's a C+.
Yeah, I think the upside is like very, very good.
Like, I'd first pick this.
Turn 6, surely you can crew 3.
I'll say that. So I think this is
nothing else in the pack on first pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't first pick this.
I would take red removal over this.
Oh, of course, but you're not happy about taking a C+ first pick either, really. But where I am happy about this is like 4th pick. If I've picked up 3 green cards in a row, I'm like, ooh, 4th pick this guy. You know, hey, this is You can do this. I'll
Yeah.
fourth pick this.
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah.
I'd be more excited to pick this in green than black, just as you are any 6-drop, I think.
Right.
That needs mana. So yeah, I think this is a C plus.
Yeah, we'll see.
And if you
We'll
have
see.
regeneration, and you have mana ramp, and you're really into these colors, and who knows what else, you care
Yeah, I
about
think there are going to be
discarding.
situations where that card feels really, really strong.
This is the sign of a good set. Although max speed
Yeah.
still concerns me. This one's mine. I did love the art on the previous one as well, and this one. Veteran Beast Rider. Like, some of this art feels older. Like, this honestly reminds me of like almost Phyrexian sort of art. This also just feels like older art to me. 1, a green and a white for a 3/4. That's a good stat line. Human Knight. At the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control.
What?
Vigilance for everybody. And 2, a green and a white. Creatures you control gain +1/+1 until end of turn. So, super threat of activation.
Ooh, baby.
So, the turn after you play this, you are extremely threatening, because this is a 4/5. The fact that it also targets itself is where they really, or not targets, obviously.
Vigilance?
Yeah, but the fact that it affects itself, neither one of them is other. Both of them include it. It itself untaps and pumps itself. This is pushed. This,
Also, Thomas, think about how like it makes you feel not bad at all about saddling things.
right, because you untap that too. This card is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're very upset. Like this
B plus.
This card, of everything we have seen, with maybe the exception of that Rakdos Super Speed one, is like the most concerning. Yeah. This is better than the Rakdos Super Speed one, because
for sure.
It's so defensive as well. This I could almost say is an A-. You know what? I'm willing to say it. This is an A-. This is like, I don't know about this color combination.
Yes. This card is very good.
If Selesnya turns out to be a good color combination, this is Mythic Uncommon. I haven't even seen all the Uncommons, but we're in the Vs. But I'm calling it. This is Mythic Uncommon if Selesnya is like playably good.
Yes.
Your enemies will underestimate you, but you must never underestimate yourself.
I mean, why would you, girl? You're riding into battle on a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, with a lightning lance. It's just very blue in this otherwise heavily white card. This is almost blue-white in its color palette. There's no green, really, at all.
No.
I wonder if it was a blue-white. It could have been a blue-white card, actually, initially. Like, if you look at the design of it, there's nothing about it that's heavily green.
Yeah, she could have just been flying in.
No, it didn't even need flying. It could just be blue-white. But anyway, it's great. It's great. Great card. I'm going to say A-.
My God. Voyage home. We've got an affinity card, baby.
On a sorcery.
A sorcery affinity card. 5 white and a blue. So Zorius. Costs 7, but with affinity, costs 1 less for each artifact you control. Draw 3 cards and gain 3 life.
This is when we start talking about constructed. So, for all the children out there, there is this card called Thoughtcast. Thoughtcast costs 4 and a blue. It is a sorcery. It says affinity for artifacts. Target player draws 2 cards. I think it says target player, not you, because I used to do that back then. But anyway, it always means you. That card is a staple in most affinity decks. This increases the cost by 1 and a white, but you could say it only increases it by white, because the full 5 can be paid for with affinity. And it gives you an extra card and 3 life.
Yes.
Observation. At the current rate of travel, eventual rediscovery of our home is a mathematical inevitability. Firm imperative. Let's go.
Oh, I want to be on this guy's team.
I like it. How good is this in limited? Okay, you said three artifacts by turn 5. Again, would be the check, right?
Yeah.
Because then it costs 5. And for 5 mana, are we interested in drawing 3 and gaining 3? 4/5 at sorcery speed? Not really. Like, we've almost always had that option in blue, minus the gaining 3. And it's never been, like, cracked. It was cracked on Lauren. Remember the one that Island cycled for 1?
Yeah.
Or the sorry, not Lorwyn. The other Lorwyn, the Lord of the Rings. Remember that? Remember the Lord of the Rings had the basic land cycling for 1 in every color, and like they were all cracked. And the blue one was 3 and 2 blue. You draw 3 cards,
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
and it was
yes.
so cracked because it's
Yes.
basically an MDFC because you could just cash it in for an island at any point. So that's the last time that card was broken in limited, but that's because it was basically a land on the other side with basic land cycling. Um, but the late game, this could cost 2, and that is ridiculous. So that's really what you're
Yeah.
evaluating is how long can you survive, and can you make enough artifacts where this is reliably 2 or 3 mana, and you're casting it
I
on
think
like turn 7.
probably because clearly Azorius is gonna want to do that.
But can you stay alive and maintain artifacts in play simultaneously? Like, do you
We'll
have to
see.
trade off your artifacts to stay alive?
Yeah.
Because like on turn 6, I guess it's almost always castable, right? Like the chance of you having no artifacts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is just. I think you're going to run every single one of these.
I think this card is actually pretty good in Commander because it's like
This card is for sure good in Commander.
it's probably good in
You're
Commander.
playing this for two every time in
Am I
Commander.
am I putting this in Shorkai? Probably not.
It has
Maybe
maybe, maybe.
I can make. I get 5
That
artifacts
deck is playing
easy.
this for 2, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe.
Um. So yeah, in limited, I'm just gonna say this is like a B minus, maybe
Yeah.
just a C
I would say
plus.
it's
It's so dependent on like. I mean, maybe if you have a bunch of those like 3/3 wall guys, right? The wall artifacts, the vehicles that like
Yeah,
are 3/3s during their turn or
I mean, we
whatever.
obviously haven't seen the other comment. Like,
Yeah,
if there's a 1 or 2 drop that just like shits out another artifact when it dies, or
yeah.
anything like that, then this I think is just
That's true.
always good. There's
It's
no way
much
that's
better.
not a thing in the set.
If there were artifact lands. Oh,
There is.
we did a. Oh, so here's a crazy fact. The multicolored cards started exactly on 1 page and ended exactly on 1 page.
Go to the very top again.
Wild. Wait, what? Did we not do that card?
Yeah, we didn't do the first
We
two.
missed
We didn't
multiple
do that
cards.
card
We
either.
didn't miss the. We didn't do the first 2. Thank you, Gabe. Very good. All right. Well,
Yeah.
you definitely get to take this twisted metal looking vehicle.
Fortuitous.
There should be.
Apocalypse Runner.
Sorry. There should be a twisted metal secret layer. Do you know what twisted metal is?
Yes, yeah, the racing.
Yeah, the old PS2.
No, it's like a PlayStation.
It wasn't really a racer. It was like a demolition. It was like a demolition derby, but with like missiles. Like you would. It was like Mario
I know
Kart
of the
Arena,
game.
but only
Yeah,
for
closer to a Mario Kart.
That would be a pretty sick. I think that secret layer would do well with a small audience. Like people my age
would
would be
probably
like,
do very well.
The clown car. You know.
No, that's iconic because even though I didn't even play that game, I know.
You know, yeah. I was not expecting you to know, honestly.
Community.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to know. But that'd be sick. All right, take it.
Yeah. Apocalypse Runner, 2 and Rakdos, so black and a red for an uncommon artifact vehicle 6/5. Cruise for 3. Tap. Target creature you control with power 2 or less gains lifelink until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. What?
You know why that's so good? Because, fun fact, vehicles have haste when they come into play while they're not creatures.
Yeah, they're artifacts. It's just an artifact. Yeah, this just comes down turn 4 and immediately gives something you have lifelink.
And can't be blocked.
And can't
because
be
you're
blocked.
going to do it to your
And
2
gets you
drop.
towards max max speed.
Yeah,
And
like
you just have a lifelinker, a guaranteed hitting lifelinker every turn.
Yeah, obviously this is so broken with the Rakdos 2 drop that we've already seen. It's just outrageous. Like you're never winning that race. You've already lost.
I know this is pie in the sky, but we've seen the rare that once you get max speed you can pump it.
Yeah, the 1 drop.
Strike.
The 1 drop, yeah.
So you could target it.
Yeah, then pump, then fire breathing it with double strike.
Pump it.
Oh! That's gross. That would be complaint equity. That rare red on turn 1, then the uncommon Rakdos card on 2, profit turn 3, this turn 4. Your opponent's dead.
Yeah, they're dead, and you're above where you started life total. Also, life length in Rakdos is weird.
And honestly, this thing just being a 6/5 for 4. I mean, crew 3 is a lot, but that's a pretty good payoff, and it's going to get you to the late game by having lifelink 2 is likely. So this thing gets rid of board stalls, is aggressive in the Rakdos deck as we've already seen, is a huge beater late, does the speed mechanic for you. I still just want to say it's a B, not a B plus, because it does cost 4 and it doesn't like affect the board immediately. It does swing immediately.
It does affect the board.
It doesn't affect. It actually doesn't affect the board state unless you leave up. Your turn 3 was a 3/3 and can crew this. Then it affects the board.
Right.
So yeah, that's what you played on turn 3, not profit. You just played vanilla 3/3 then this. But yeah, I still just think it's a B. Don't avoid the wreck, survive it. That's Twisted Metal text if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Come on. Boom, Scholar. All right, here's the last one. 1 in a Gruul, green, red for a 3/3 Goblin Advisor. I love that he's an advisor and he just has lit firecrackers that he's carrying. Exhaust abilities of other permanents you control cost 2 less to activate. Of other, so not him because he also exhausts. Big exhaust. 4 and a Gruul, red, green, 6 total. Creatures and vehicles you control gain trample until end of turn. Put 2 1/1 counters on this creature. I'm paying 6 mana to give everything trample, including me, and I become a 5/5.
You're gonna have to have a lot of exhaust abilities for me to want to play this.
So here's all this skepticism is because we're reading the exhaust like it needs to be ability. It doesn't. This exhaust is just like a little bit of frosting at the top. The rest of the card's good. It's a 3/3 for 3. That -2 exhaust we've seen would be huge on other. I'm sure it's going to be huge on other things. Like if you could somehow build this with the Simic, for instance, right, and make its exhaust only cost 2. I know that's 3 colors, but I'm sure there's going to be good green and red exhaust and like
I said, but also like we talked about, surely there's color fixing in green, and with two kinds of duels, the common duels and the actual rare duels, you surely should be able to go 3 colors in this set.
And the Simic one we already saw also fetched some lands, or it actually didn't fetch lands. It just turned them over.
It reveals, but
I would say this is just like a B- though. Like you have to have other good exhaust things for this to be anything other than a 3/3 for 3. And like you said, the exhaust is just some icing at the top. So it's like if you have a bunch of exhaust, this is probably more like a B+, but we'll see how much exhaust there is. I really don't know. All right.
Okay.
Now we've done it. Now we did it.